It seems surreal what Lionel Messi has already been able to accomplish with this Leagues Cup victory tonight. As someone who was in St. Louis covering Inter Miami in their final MLS game before the Leagues Cup break, their final MLS game before Lionel Messi came to town, to see the transition not just from, you know, pre-Leagues Cup Inter Miami to Leagues Cup Inter Miami, but to just be there for this Leagues Cup. And the quality of play on the pitch was a joy to behold, quite frankly. And of course, throughout the course of this video, we'll get into some of the changes that I would love to see in the Leagues Cup. But for now, let's focus on the final. But before we get there, hello everyone. Welcome back to Talking Soccer. I am Justin Horniker, and we have just finished a 11-round PK that went to goalkeepers that saw Drake Callender standing tall, the 25-year-old American whose previous best accolade before this match, before he was awarded the goalkeeper of the tournament, was being named a Mac Herman Award finalist during his senior year at Cal. The glow up has been incredible, if you ask me. And that's kind of the beauty of Messi, too. That's the beauty of Inter Miami. That's the beauty of what this run has been. It's not just about Lionel Messi's individual brilliance, which, if you watch tonight's match, the first goal that Inter Miami scores to go up 1-0, it comes after Lionel Messi gets on the end of a kind of ricocheted ball. Walker Zimmerman gets a foot on it even. He has 5 Nashville defenders surrounding him and another behind the wall. And he is still able to put enough power on this ball off balance to go over the wall defenders around him, beat the post. And it's incredible to see this happening in real time. I've always been a Messi fan, but I've never had him play in a league that I, watched regularly, was regularly invested in. And to see this, in real time against, teams that I watch relatively frequently, at least teams that have played against the teams that I cover, that kind of like personal intimacy of it all just puts it in another perspective. And to see him come to America and like kind of embrace the party of Miami, embrace the I just want to make $1 billion and play football in front of my friends, in front of my family kind of thing that Miami has going on. It's been a joy to behold. And honestly, the league is much better for having a stronger Inter Miami than it was previously. If you listened to Taylor Twellman's podcast this week, he had Gary Neville on. He talked about kind of his time in Miami and his time with Jorge Mas and the vision in Miami. And this is going to be a Miami heavy episode. I apologize to Nashville fans out there. We'll get to you eventually. But that's the thing, too, is that this match is a defining moment in Lionel Messi's legacy. This is his 47th career trophy. He has the potential to win the Ballon d'Or this year, and that's going to help out a bit. That's a little bit silly. Okay, I take that back. Winning the Leagues Cup, I don't think is going to have a huge impact on his Ballon d'Or. But if it does, you heard it here first, obviously. But it's not just that. It's Sergio Busquets. It's Lionel Messi. It's Jordi Alba. It's all these names that we've been following. I'm 30 years old. These are all names that I've been following pretty much my entire soccer watching adult life. To see them in Miami, to doing this, having fun, and doing these around some Miami homegrowns and players that you're going to see in the U.S. men's national team, like Benjamin Cremenci, if he chooses to be a U.S. player, if he chooses the U.S. over Argentina, like Drake Callender, the 25-year-old keeper we talked about before. He was just called into the U.S. 70 this year and has had a very good season in Miami before Messi got there, but now he's going to have those top tier accolades to go with the numbers that he's been putting up. But that always helps, especially when Greg Berhalter's looking at things. I don't know. We don't need to go down that road today. But this Leagues Cup final had everything that Don Garber, that the Leagues Cup organizers would hope that this final would be. It was back and forth. It was Hany Mukhtar against Lionel Messi, and it lived up to the billing. When Nashville come back, they get the drawing goal, they make it 1-0, or 1-1, I should say. There were chances in this match, especially after that goal where they tied it up, that they switched to a midfield diamond. They were able to kind of play their style of soccer again, and they took it to Nashville. And there were moments in this match where you really felt like Nashville could have come ahead. You really felt like Nashville could have been on the front foot. There were a couple, brilliant Hannah Mukhtar moments where the final shot, the final move just wasn't there. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where Leo Campana is this close to the goal line. The ball's kind of moving away from him. He slides to get there. Goalkeeper tripped the Nashville defender, and it goes off the outside of the post. Final kick of the match before it goes to PKs. It really had everything. Either team could have won this in regulation. And obviously the beauty of Lionel Messi is that first goal comes kind of out of nothing, right? It's in a dangerous spot, of course, but there wasn't any reason that any other player that was Lionel Messi should have been able to score that goal. So 1-1 goes to PKs. It's a brilliant PK. Goes to 11 rounds. We get goalkeepers, everything I could have wanted. And finally, the MVP of the match, Drake Callender, hits the goal, makes the save, and Miami have won their first trophy. And there's a lot of symmetry here, too, because Nashville and Miami are kind of diametrically opposed in kind of their style and how they want to build their team and pretty much everything of MLS. One is on this side, one is on the other side. And they both came into the league at the same time. Both have had ups and downs. Nashville have been a lot more successful since they come into the league and kind of took the league by surprise, have turned themselves into kind of playoff contenders despite their inability to find a real designated number 9. They bring Sam Surridge in. Sam Surridge seems to have a pretty good Leagues Cup here. But in the end, Sam Surridge isn't able to make the impact that someone like Lionel Messi has made. So again, you have those diametric ideals of bringing in, these transfers like Jordi Alba, like Sergio Busquets, who I think deserves, that's in the story of Sergio Busquets, his entire career, is that he deserves a lot of these credit for, the Barcelona success that Messi gets, but because Messi is Messi, Busquets gets kind of forgotten about. Even though that's also kind of just the player he is. He's just so solid in every way that he's almost unremarkable. Except, if you watch him the entire game, you're like, okay, the way that he can, carry the ball in the half spaces and just kind of create his own space and really command the midfield on his own. That was and is going to be so important for Miami going forward. But I just wanted to hop on and talk a bit about the Leagues Cup. Going forward, I think the format may look a little bit different, especially with the expanded Club World Cup, especially with potentially MLS and Liga MX teams going into Copa America. It's not set in stone what the future of this competition will look like, especially, there will probably be changes to the CONCACAF Champions League as well. I don't know if Mexican teams are going to sign up for the travel that this was. Originally Liga MX, I think, signed on for the kind of marketing boost they were going to receive from a tournament like this. But seeing a team like Monterrey play the third place game in Philadelphia this week, and the travel they've had to endure, 30 days out of the country, 7 different American cities, and they have a game on Monday that I got to travel back to Mexico for. So if this competition is to go forward, there absolutely has to be a way that Liga MX teams can host. And I know a lot of that is some of these Liga MX teams like Club America wanting to go to America because of how large their fan base is in the diaspora. And it's kind of two minds in that, you want those supporters to have a chance to see these teams as well, but they can still have those away games. There needs to be a way that U.S. teams can go to Mexico, not just for Liga MX team's sake, for the competition's sake, because Liga MX teams can look at this and say, we played this entire tournament in America. We didn't have any home matches. Even though some of the environments were home matches, that travel is still tough, right? Anytime you're away from home for that long, it's going to be tough. And you can look at that, and that's a built-in reason for why there were no Liga MX teams in the final, to why there are only 2 Liga MX teams in the final 8, and it's pretty clear to see. So going forward, I would love for that to be a thing. But outside of that, like, it's a pretty fun tournament. I know, like, optics-wise, it's a bit of a cash grab. MLS taking a month-long break in the middle of the season is a little bit odd, but if it stays at this level of intensity, at this level of play, at this level of excitement, there's no reason there shouldn't be another year of the Leagues Cup. And I think seeing the amount of money that this tournament has made, seeing the impact of Lionel Messi, I think it's going to be a very important part of the North American soccer calendar going forward. So anyway, let me know what you thought about the Leagues Cup. Let me know what you thought about this final in particular. Lionel Messi, of course. Can't say enough about him. But thank you all so much for giving me a watch. If this is your first time finding Talking Soccer, give me a subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Smash that like button. And folks, we'll talk very soon.